We are live, and let's put some music on because we're connecting from the streets of Washington, D.C. Oh my God.
Here
It's
we
gonna be a
are
vibe today.
on Q Street.
Good. We're coming back. All right. Welcome everyone to a new
Oh,
episode of our leadership series. I have with me an incredible, beautiful Dr. Emily. I am so honored to have you and to connect with you. Dr. Emily Brearley. Did I pronounce it well?
you did. Well done. Even my own mom doesn't pronounce it right sometimes.
And
So you did
I
a
put the
good job.
jacket for you. I put the jacket on today because I
Thank
knew you're
you.
gonna come so
Well,
classy. You're like international institutions. You brought me back to my time at the World Bank. I'm like, I gotta honor that.
do you know that I actually got rid of most of my jackets because I haven't been at the World Bank for 5 years and then COVID, and I was like, why do I have all this stuff? It's not really my uniform anymore. But what I do
Yes,
find
that's the thing.
useful, right? I find it useful to put a jacket on. It just pulls you together. So it's a good
Yeah.
tip. I tell
And
my
to
girls, just
you,
red lipstick, jacket, you're done.
and you go, girl. It's the same thing because I've been a digital company for like 5 years now. And
Same, yes.
yes, and I love that feeling. Oh
Me
my
too.
God.
It's liberating. You don't have
It
a
is.
boss. Nobody's sexually harassing you.
Oh,
Nobody is telling you that you're working too hard and making other people look bad. You can run as fast and as far as you want.
and you can work as much as you want as long as you love it, you're enjoying it,
Yes,
and you're
it's
having a
true.
bliss. So I want to
Yeah.
congratulate you
Thank
because
you.
you are an amazing and incredible woman. We've been to SAIS together years differently.
Yes.
I'm a bit
Yes.
older, but that's okay. We're not going to talk about that. Few years older. And you stayed on and you did your doctorate. Congratulations.
Thank you. I left and I went back. There was about 5 years, 6 years between my MA and my PhD. And I kept working through my PhD, which is a bit naughty, but
Which
who the hell can afford to just give up work? And
you
so
can't. You
I
can't.
don't know how I did it. I just didn't really sleep much. I didn't have any weekends and I loved it. I loved it. It was going to the gym for my brain. It
Uh-huh.
was being with peers who were more intelligent than me. And
Yeah.
I always encourage women, if you can do it, you should do it. I
Yes,
am the
I do.
poster girl for PhDs,
You are
and
incredible.
who knew that I could do that when I was sitting in Norfolk on the farm and
Yes.
none of the women in my family had ever been to university.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
That's
it was a big
incredible.
jump.
Oh, congratulations, like 10 times, 100 times for every woman that you couldn't do it. When I went to SAIS, I had already my PhD, and I was actually working and doing the MA in the
Right.
same time,
So
which was I know what it is. No weekends, no evenings,
yeah,
nothing,
yeah,
nothing.
it's a lot.
But it's fun though. We
It's
learn
so
so much.
fun. Well, because I was also working at the World Bank where mostly my bosses were telling me that I was stupid and mediocre
Hmm.
and I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. And SICE was giving me the opposite messaging. You're great.
Messaging.
You have something important to say. We
Oh,
support you. We're going to help you. We're going to critique you, but constructively. And so it was a really wonderful experience. My peers were from all over the world, fascinating people.
mhm.
And I feel really lucky. It seems like 5 million years ago, though, darling.
Yeah,
I was
because you've done
48
so
like
many
3 years
things.
ago. Yeah,
It's
I
like
was
you're
48.
working on like multi-dimensional space that it feels forever while you
Yes,
focus up the focus on all what you do. That's
yes,
incredible.
yeah.
And I'm so proud of you for your book. Oh my
Thank
God.
you. I have my author's copy here to
Can you
flash
show me?
people.
Let's
Ooh.
let's let's take a photo of it. Aid Inferno.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's it.
I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to receiving mine. I've ordered it, so I'm waiting for it to
Thank you.
arrive.
Thank
Yes,
you.
of course. And we're going to invite everyone to order it because that's very, a lot of thought provoking real ideas that you put there. Can you tell us what have started you into writing your book and talking about development this way?
I started writing my book a long time ago, and it was a diary, really, to keep
Mm,
track of the things that I was seeing because I was very traumatized and I would say morally injured by
mm,
the wasted aid around me, the
mm,
callous business model of the
mm,
aid
mm,
apparatus.
mhm,
And I didn't really know what to do with it. I went into my jewelry box and found my grandmother's crucifix because seriously, I was raised Catholic and then I didn't go to mass. And then I was thinking, I don't know how to explain the bad things I'm seeing. So
mm,
initially, it was very emotional, it was very personal. And only at this age of 48, with, over 2 decades of experience behind me, could I start to process and figure out a macro framework.
mm.
Why is this happening? What is going wrong? What are the systemic problems? And how could we fix it?
Wow.
And I also had the confidence not to write in a kind of academic way. I've done my PhD. Oh, are you okay? You put yourself on mute. You're on mute.
Yes, but I'm
Okay.
here. I'm here.
Okay.
So can we just go back to explain to, because I know the book, I know what you're writing about for people that are watching us. So, Dr. Emily, you've been in development for how many years? Like all
Many, 2 decades.
you started in develop. When you say development, you mean working in international institutions that actually financing the development in the world.
That's
Yeah.
correct. The World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, Asian Development Bank, mostly the World Bank, though. Yeah.
Yes. And so this through the years, you worked in projects, you structured projects, you followed projects, you implemented projects, and that
Right.
was you took a journaling out of all of this. That's the when you say diary, yeah? Just
Yes.
for everybody
And
to understand what it
that's
means
right.
being
A
that work.
diary. Yeah, just
Yeah.
like a dear diary. What the hell's going on today? Question mark. And I've worked on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of projects, and
Mhm.
I'm sorry to tell you guys that most of them failed. The vast majority failed. In fact, it's very hard for me to pinpoint one that worked. Funnily enough, I'm talking to you from the street because I didn't have Wi-Fi in my apartment. I'm sitting outside Java Cafe in
Mhm.
Washington, D.C., and they're now selling coffee from Nicaragua, from
Mhm.
Twin Engine,
Mhm.
because I got the coffee. I made the connection between the owner and the farmers in Nicaragua.
Really?
And
So
yeah,
that's you
and
sitting in a results, one of the success of your own work.
yes,
That's
yes. And
incredible.
my dear friend who serves the coffee here, who's Ethiopian, I'm like a godmother to her niece.
Mm,
She calls me her fairy godmother. And I helped her get a job with a big NGO in Ethiopia. She bought a house for her parents, and
mhm,
now she's doing her master's. I tell
mhm,
you this not to be like, oh, but I worked in my career on these big multi-billion dollar projects,
mm.
trying and trying to make a difference. And it's
Yes,
only in the micro, in my own immediate community, that I
yes,
actually could have an impact. And I think that's a way for us to not feel too depressed. Like
yes,
what you're doing right now, I'm sure if you had a magic wand, you would like female prime ministers all over the world. But what you can do is you can
yes,
talk to women, you can give us a platform, and that's
exactly.
within your power, right?
Yeah, and I feel
Uh,
fulfilled. And if there is
right.
one or two or three women watching us, or just one person, we're talking to her.
Yes.
Because you are sharing your incredible story, you're sharing your resilience, you're working so hard and keep on keeping your grace and elegance. Oh my God, that's such an incredible example to our daughters. We want them to see that
We do
and
want them to see that and not give up.
not give up. And I think what I love about what you're saying is that everything happens at the micro level.
Hmm.
Even though
Yeah.
we love to structure big projects, but at the end, the success, you see it at the micro level. And
And
this is
one of the conclusions of my book is that we have to be far more humble. When
Mhm,
we've gone and tried to do everything everywhere all at once
mhm,
and keep the aid machine going,
mhm,
we failed. We failed. So
mhm,
now we have 80 years of data. we can look at what worked and what didn't. And frankly, the list of what worked is very short. And we should just focus on a few good things. My tagline of my company, it's called Solution 42, is simple solutions for complex problems. Because I think that we tend to overcomplicate, and then things become overly complex. They're not transparent. You can't track them. Money goes missing, you know? So if we just focus on a few good things, it's easier to check that there's actually an impact.
So let's give a positive outlook. Let's start with a positive outlook. So
Yeah.
if you were to extract from all the analysis you've done, the 80 years of data, what you have
Yeah.
worked through, can you extract one or two things that you think work well so that we can really amplify it through our focus and our energy?
Look, I think that it's a moral imperative to have international aid, but the examples we have of best practice is basically an infrastructure. And that's not even the UN or the World Bank, that's the Marshall Plan. And it was for a very specific set of infrastructure projects. It was concessional loan, but it all got paid back. And those are things that have actually worked. I also think that I don't really think much of Peace Corps. I call it, Global South babysitting for Global North kids. But voluntary service overseas, which is for more senior professionals, where you can specifically go in to a sector. Let's say you're a doctor. You can go to a hospital in Guatemala and teach them new techniques that they don't have. So that also works. But most of the projects we see, and even the people who say, oh, we're impact investors, they're not, because they can't prove impact. Unless you can prove an impact, you're not an impact investor. Unless you can prove an impact, you're not a successful aid organization. And really, it's why they're so busy and so noisy and they produce so many reports. It's all a bit of a distraction. And if they I call it goldfish economics.
Goldfish economics. It's a good
And what
new
I
one. I've
mean is
never
that
heard that.
it's my invention to say, they swim around the bowl and then they forget. Oh, it's as if they just arrived. Like a goldfish doesn't have a good memory. But the fact is, we have 80 years of data.
We do.
And
We do.
the
We have
UN,
many, many, many hours of hard work and focus and truly
months,
believing.
days, years, reports stacked up on the
And
shelves.
believing and
And
real passion,
yes,
really.
yes. So
We
we
do.
know what we do well. We know
Yeah.
what we don't do well. Let's focus humbly on the few things we do well. And if we do less things, then we can achieve, big infrastructure transitions for the green energy transition. We can do that instead of dividing up the money among hundreds of projects, which really aren't going to have an impact.
I like that conclusion. I like the way you put in things. It's like, don't spread yourself thin so that it is so thin you don't really make a difference in any sector. But just
Right.
get your energy and the money and everything focused in 1, 2, 3 thematics that that will carry our development.
And you summarized that more brilliantly than I stated it. And I also say you should only ever do 3 projects at one time. 3, no more. No
3 is
more.
my number 2. I always say that. That is
I
so
like
incredible.
3.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
who decides what the 3 projects are? The countries decide. The
So when you
countries
say
decide.
3 projects, this is very powerful. When you say 3 projects, do you mean one person is in charge of 3 projects? One institution is in charge of 3 projects? One department? What do you mean 3 projects? Is it by sector, by country, by what?
It's by country. So you have the country decides we want to do these 3 things. We want to build a bridge over the river. We want to build a solar plant over here, and we want to build a hospital. And the donors come to the country and put their money in one pot. So you don't have to have 5 million meetings with 5 million different donors. The country is the sorting house, and the donors come to them. So donors you don't have turf wars anymore. It's not like the World Bank owns this project and USAID owns this project and the UN and the EU. And, donors have to get in line, put their money in the pot. And once we have the money in the pot for projects that the country themselves have decided, not what we tell them.
That was my next question.
What we tell them. They decide.
That was my next question. Who decides on the projects?
Have you ever watched Dancing with the Stars?
Yes, I will love that.
Okay, so we'll have Dancing with the Stars for aid. We can have 8 projects and they come onto the stage and they talk about what they are and what we would do, and the public votes.
And
The end.
who will
The
be the
public
public?
votes. The general public in the country, and only people in the country get a vote. The vote is not the donors. The vote is the people from the country, because after all, if it's a concessional loan, it's their money. It's not free. Aid money is not free. And if your government is stealing it, then it's particularly painful for you.
Well, let's not go to that direction. Let's go back to really, and I like your take on that. It's the like bottom up to bottom, and bottom up, so that we
Right,
meet. We got
right,
to meet, and you got
right.
to have a structure for it, a system for it, that
Yes.
makes you like, okay, you came with the advisory and the expertise, but there is also, all the countries have the expertise today and the advisory and all of that, and we got to meet somewhere.
They
And
really do. And honestly, the teams I've worked with, local staff are so brilliant. They understand their countries, and we have to empower them and not displace them. And so, maybe every now and again you have an international expert on a very specific topic and we can have north south transfer, but most things can be done locally. And so for the global north, it's about getting cash into the hands of, where we need it.
okay, so this is incredible, because like now you come in, you almost redefining a new system for
Yeah.
international aid.
Yes.
Is that what was the book for? Like,
That's exactly what it was for. It's to pose a new idea. So it looks at what went wrong, why it went wrong, and therefore the conclusions are, how could we fix it? I'm a very, I'm not jaded. I believe that we can make the world a better place, and we should make the world a better place. It's our moral imperative, but we have to be sensible. And so I wanted to put forth some ideas, and I want people to interact with them and disagree and agree and add to them. But we have to have an honest conversation that says things have gone wrong. We messed up. Things have to be fixed. And I'm not the first person to say this. In the 1960s, the father of development economics, Albert O. Hirschman, looked at a bunch of World Bank projects and said, most of them fail. Even in the 1960s, Dambisa Moyo has written about debt aid in Africa. Bill Easterly, who was a World Bank economist, has written about the elusive quest for growth. I'm not saying anything controversial. I'm certainly saying it in a bit of an edgy, working class, cheeky British way, so that young people and non-economists can find it fun and interesting and
yes,
connect
yes. And I
connect
see
with.
that from the drawing in the first page of your book. Yeah.
Right.
But it's serious.
It's
So,
for the people. It's not for my peers. It's for it's for the general public. It's pop economics, because we need them to push for change. But other than that, it's the same ideas, but my solutions are slightly different.
so, okay, what would be your solutions if it's not that?
So, what's interesting is that in the book, I say that Mia Motley and Janet Yellen could sit down one afternoon with a glass of rum and they could fix the World Bank. It would
Oh.
take one afternoon, because it's about the structure of the institution. So they could say only 3 projects in each country. Projects are decided by local people, not by us. If it's not transparent, we're not going to do it. And we're only going to work in sectors where we have a track record of success. The end. How hard is that? Well, where the resistance comes is that there is a whole beast, a development beast, where people like me, who, or I used to be, living in DC, making good money, poor people
Well,
basically
we love
paying.
that. We love contributing. It's become a lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I always felt very guilty, I have to say, because
Really?
as I got,
I enjoyed
yeah,
it. I was there for 8 years myself, and
yes,
I believed in every part of my being that I was contributing to something.
you
But
did.
I join you in one important point you mentioned. What I love most is that when we see the impact at the micro level, when we go and visit a farm, when we go and visit a person, when we go and see the children happy because there is a new infrastructure of water. And I think if I keep something from my time there, these are the moments I remember,
What
because
projects, what sectors were you working on?
I was working on environment, on water infrastructure, environmental strategies. So it's really, I was in, my PhD at Harvard was about sustainability. So it was very much
Right.
into water management environment. So it was a lot connected with, that's why you say it's like it evolved, because it was a lot of infrastructure in the beginning. So projects
Yes.
where you build things, you build,
Yes.
like you connect areas that are so disconnected, they don't have access to water and electricity. And at that time, it was so needed, because you bring life, and you can
Yes.
only do that with those
Yes.
projects. But I hear you well when you say, get focused in 3 areas. Today,
Yeah.
everything has changed. And you cannot pretend to do it all, because then you spread thin. But if you focus in one, we see the impact. As we
Yeah,
used to.
I think that's right. And I don't know, I'd be interested if you go back and see the projects that you built, if they're still there and still working.
I think so, because some strategies were to reach 100% of water connections, and it worked. And others were to, make sure that the electricity is everywhere, and it works, right? So there
Yeah.
are some parts that do have fruits. That's why we don't want to be cynical about everything, but we
Yeah.
do. And I salute your work, because in everything we do, if we don't challenge us, then how can we become better?
I think you're completely right. You're completely right. And, I think parts of my book are cynical, parts of them are hopeful. I think it's a mixture of everything because it's not one thing.
Hmm.
Because the aid machine is so massive. Obviously, some things work, some things don't. I contend that most things don't. But when they do work, it's fantastic. And it's really the only way we have to get the large amount of financing that we need in the trillions for climate adaptation and
Yeah,
mitigation.
and
So
I know you're always
we
for that.
gotta keep trying. We've got to keep trying, and we have to fix this problem. So and I think we're in a moment of questioning. It's a very exciting, important moment, especially for my colleagues in the global south who are like, hey, we have some ideas. It's time for us to come forward and give you our ideas. We don't want this kind of neo-colonial approach anymore of you telling us what to do. We know what we want to do.
Mhm.
So, let us have more of a say in our development project.
Mhm.
And I think that's incredibly important. And, countries have to be allowed to make mistakes or choose the wrong things, but it's really up to them
To
to,
learn.
yeah, and to be in charge of their own destiny.
Yes. And I think that message is absolutely spot on and timely today, because there is no one that knows better but the people themselves and the country itself. No one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's why I really want young people to study economics.
Mm. I like that
I think,
invitation. We have to
you
spread
know,
it out. Yeah.
yeah, because I think young people think economics is synonymous with free market capitalism, and it's not. Economics is a toolkit to understand the market and to understand how labor and capital are, manifested in the economy. And it's a really great profession to go into. So we need more female economists. We need more young economists in general.
Yeah, why you add more female economists? Tell me.
Because there's so few of us. We're like panda bears.
It's true. There are not that many. I
And
had
like female economists with long hair, there's like five of us. Most have that haircut, the Clinton haircut.
uh-huh.
There's an idea of what a female economist should look like.
And
I
you
love
are
Mariana
all of
Mazzucato and I
You're
love
like
Dambisa
breaking the
Moyo.
rules in every sense.
I'm really fed up of people thinking if you have long hair, you're a moron. But
You're not.
that's
You're pretty
that's
and
how it
so
goes.
smart. And I'm so impressed by your boldness. You gotta be bold to write a book like that. You gotta be so confident. And I salute you, Emily, for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. I
Really.
think
And I think
I
I
had
want to
to be
express,
this age. I had to
yes.
be this age.
Well,
I'm
yes.
not
And I
younger.
think and you just, I mean, I think there is a reason why we all are in this age where we mature, more wisdom.
Yes.
Yet
Yes.
there is this possibility to connect anywhere in the world and be having conversation like this. It's just, what do we do with that? How do we pass on this message? We're carrying love and peace, and just,
I know.
inviting everybody
I
around.
want to be I want to be the mentor, the female mentor for young women that I never
Mhm.
had. And I never had a female mentor.
Yeah,
And I tried. I tried to find one.
yeah,
And the women above me were not very kind. Women are not always kind to women. And I want to make a difference. I
I-
really want to help young women. It's the joy of my life, in fact. Again, it's the micro. You
it
can
is micro.
give
The so
people, good advice, get them entry level jobs, pull them up, pull them
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
That's what we've got to
Encourage
do.
them. Don't be
Yeah,
threatened by them. Just let them
totally.
be. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't,
I love
because
young
what
people.
happens is that sometimes what we project is that we get, like, triggered. And when women get triggered, we want to learn how to just let that calm you down. No react, no reaction. Emotional intelligence. No one taught us that. So you want everyone to learn economics, but also emotional intelligence, because you want to.
Definitely.
Yes.
I've worked with a lot of young people on this book. The art is done by a young Nicaraguan artist.
Huh?
He's 23 years old.
Really?
And we had such
Beautiful.
fun because I know people don't always read books. So you got to have a good cover because I wanted the
Your
cover to
cover is
almost
like
tell the story.
your
No,
cover is like a tableau. It's like, wow, what a painting.
well, we channeled a lot of, Spanish conquistador imagery and art, the bandera, the flag, the
Mm,
throne, the
mm,
sheep's mask with the
mm,
bad guy wearing,
mm.
the sheep's mask to pretend that he's
Scary.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit scary. My Catholic grandmother, I'm sure wouldn't like it. She'd be like, "Oh," but
But she
I
must
still
be
wanted to
proud of
have.
you, of your voice, of having done the studies, the doctorate, this is incredible. Playing in the big game of where things are happening.
I just don't really think of it like that. I'm always thinking of the next thing. I don't take time to sit and smell the roses, and maybe I should more.
Yeah,
It's very kind of you to put me in that headspace because normally I'm
yeah,
like, oh, I'm
yeah.
not doing
Because
enough. What's the next thing?
we
Yeah.
want to fill our heart with gratitude for what we do and appreciate everyone's step. Otherwise, we get overwhelmed with so many things that seem still to do, you know?
God, this is a good therapy session. Thank you.
This is celebrating you and your book. This
Thank
is
you. It's very
celebrating.
kind of you.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of you. And I like the way I have several guests in this leadership series, and one of my guests was saying, "I want every girl to code," and another was saying,
Yeah.
every girl to learn science." And now we're adding to it economics. We're gonna guide them
Economics.
crazy with all what they need to learn. Yeah,
Yeah. We want girls to fulfill their potential.
we do.
That's it. Whatever they fancy, if they want to be economists, hopefully I'm going to pull them into that. But, for me, there was a really high, it wasn't just a glass ceiling, it was a glass maze. And once I got to one place, it was, if I was a Argentine dude, I would be
Mm.
president of the IDB. If I was a upper class British man, I would be president of the World Bank. My
But why?
sex
Why can't
definitely
you?
held me back.
Yeah, but why can't you keep that? You're still young. Why do we
I mean,
just?
maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
I think sometimes you have to accept that the system is set up not for you, and you have to create your own thing. And that
Mhm,
is why I created my own company,
mhm,
and I work with the clients I want to. I'm a bit like a Robin Hood. So I
mhm,
work with big clients, and then I give free advice to smaller NGOs in mostly sub-Saharan Africa, also
mhm,
Central America.
mhm.
Um, and I work with the people I want to. I don't have to work with a-holes anymore. It's
Mm.
great. It's really good for my skin.
Oh,
I used to have
you
this like stress line all the way up
you don't
here when
have
I
it.
went to the World
You
Bank.
don't
Yeah,
have
it's
it.
gone. It's
It's
gone. I
all
have a
perfect now. So
great.
my question to my beautiful guest is, what is your definition of being a leader? What do you think a leader is?
I think it's inspiring people in your team to do their best work. And sometimes the you have to give constructive criticism, but it must always be constructive. The best leaders I've ever worked for, and there haven't been that many, have inspired me because they're like, oh, you're really good at this, this, and this. But by the way, you could improve on this and this is how. So it's not just
Mm.
like, oh, you're wonderful. I'm a Brit, okay? I'm a working class Brit. We don't need this hugs and tea and, oh, you're great. Here's a prize for participating. I can
Mm.
take some
Yeah,
tough love, but
tough
there
love.
has to be love. It has to be given with
Has
the
to come
view
from love.
to help, yeah, to come from love and help someone improve,
I love
which is,
that.
as you know, that's doing a PhD.
Yes.
You're trying to go to do contribute to the field,
Mhm.
and your peers are helping you by critiquing you and saying, ah, did you think of this? Did you think
Yeah,
of that?
'cause they
How
help you.
about that?
Yeah, yeah,
I find it really exhilarating and
absolutely.
wonderful. If somebody gives you constructive criticism, you need to embrace it. It's a
Because
gift.
you know the difference. We feel the difference. And I think it's time for every
Yes.
leader to understand that. We
Yes.
know when whatever you say comes from love, when it comes from like, oh, just forget the person. We know. So
You
you know what?
know,
Yeah.
John Perkins, who wrote Confessions of an Economic Hitman,
Uh-huh.
which is a New York Times bestseller,
Okay.
he's a mentor of mine. And
Okay.
when I was going to publish the book, I told him about it. And he said, and I was finding it hard to find a publisher. He was like, Emily, these days, you don't need a publisher,
Yes,
publish
yes.
yourself. He
Love
said,
that.
you know, the publishing industry is very risk averse. And in our field, they want Joseph Stiglitz, but they don't want young female economists because
Mhm.
we're not known.
Nobody knows them.
And
Yeah,
he said, Emily, just focus on love.
that's true.
Make sure you write it with love. And
That's
for an older gentleman with all of his experience
saying
to
that.
say that, it was so beautiful to me. And it
Mhm.
changed my whole feeling I felt
Mhm.
about the book. It was
Love that.
beautiful. He's a wonderful man.
I'm so happy that we get to end on this beautiful tone. It's really about love, and leader is inspiring people but it has to come from a source of love. And,
Yes.
and this is what you do, and this is what we are doing.
You've just injected so much happiness and confidence and love into my day. And we're not even in the same place. So goodness knows what we could do when we're in the same
Did
country.
you see that?
Let's
It's
go.
with the light. We're covering the planet. Thank you so much for being with me. This was such a delight. I loved it. Thank you for taking me in the streets of Washington. I
Here we
used to
are.
enjoy my walk. It's so nice. I used to enjoy my walk every morning, going to the office at the World Bank. It
It's
was such a
beautiful.
yes.
And
So
here's
you
the
brought that.
book, Aid
Yeah.
Inferno.
We'll drop the link to everyone to get it. Thank you so much. You've done an incredible work, and thank you, Emily, for being with me today. Thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you.
following us.
It's an
This
honor.
was fun.